Okay, so hi everyone. I think that I met some guys already in Prague last month. I think it was Pavel and also you two guys. Yeah. So this talk is not the similar in 100%, but there may be some slides that are similar. So disclaimer, friendly disclaimer. So firstly, my name is Luděk Vepřek. I'm working, as Teresa mentioned, for more than 1 year in Kiwi.com on our design system called Orbit. I used to be a graphic designer maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but I just left this way of life maybe. And I'm also passionate about UX, accessibility, and usable products. And I'm Isaac, your referee. So let's start with some introduction. We know that design systems now are very popular, and why exactly? Every year a lot of books is coming out, and by a lot I mean a lot. And I will just move a bit. Yeah. But what's the reason? For me, it's a bit buzzword now, but with buzzword, it also has some cons. And the biggest con for me is that design systems are so complex. By complexity, I mean what your design system, if you have one, consists or contains. Basically, it's a lot of things, a lot. But today I want to talk about 3 things that I do the most, I probably like the most, and it's components or development of symbols in Sketch or front-end components. The second thing is communication, because it's probably the first or the second essential thing. And the last one is documentation. And why exactly I want to talk about it is that it's so essential that you can't do it without it. You can't do your design system without communication, development, and documentation. So I think that you guys probably know this scale, but I modified it. From the start, when I joined Kiwi.com, my focus was on developing the components. So I probably spent 60% of my time on developing front-end components, and I spent 20% of documentation and communication. But after 6 months, as Honza mentioned, probably in October, the situation was different. We need to communicate with the people. We need to explain how this design system works, what it is, and to have some buy-in that they want to use it. And nowadays the situation is that, okay, we educated people of our so they know that what Orbit is. We've got maybe 50 components, but now it's time to probably make the documentation properly, because we've got so big there. And why my topic is named or is called Hidden Pitfalls? Because these 3 essential things covers a lot of your job. And if in the last, I would say, 12 months, we discovered a lot of hidden pitfalls and also some challenges that we needed to solve. So basically, that's the name, Hidden Pitfalls. Everyone is expecting that you're just gonna totally avoid the pitfall like this guy, but in the end, it probably works like this. You are riding on a train and you don't want to stop. You are doing everything you can to solve the problems and move along. So let's start. I've got 5 pitfalls for you. The first pitfall: nobody knows what design system is. And why? Because you've got the best team ever, our Orbit team, but we are living in a bubble, and you are assuming that everybody knows what design system is. I totally love this quote. We heard it probably 1 week ago at Brighton Conference Patterns Day, where we were with our team, and it's actually from Anna Yali. It's difficult name. But what is the actual problem of design system is that people are afraid of design systems or just normal systems. Why? The thing is that people are afraid that the system will restrict their creativity or freedom, and also they are afraid that the system won't work and will fail. And also, I didn't add it, but I think that a lot of guys are afraid that maybe the system will make their job harder, but that's not true. So how to get their trust? I think that Honza mentioned in his presentation some trust, but for me it's about the communication and also some your thoughts about your customers and design system, because you need to take your users as your customers, because design system is a product, so you need to care about them, and also you need to care about their work, how they are enjoying or hating working with that. You also need to collect feedback with feedback loops. I will explain it later. And probably the best option is to have a beer with them, to explain them everything you need. So for a brief moment, let's talk about feedback loops. We developed probably this name with Honza maybe 3 months ago, when we just fully started to do it. Basically, it's a physical meeting that is planned quarterly, and you want to talk with every front-end developer from a lot of possible projects or teams, and you want to give them feedback how they are using your design system. Also, you want to collect feedback from them. Hey, how do you like our documentation? Yeah, it's so shitty. And also to know what are the pitfalls in their job. Okay, so I've got this component, and they don't work together. So that means that, okay, we should think about this for a brief moment and maybe develop some change and release it. And with this, you can ensure the two-way communication, and you're gonna get their trust very easily, because they think that you are developing the design system, the product for them, not for you. And that's the most important thing. Okay, so pitfall number 2. Nobody knows what we are doing. It's a bit similar to the first pitfall, but this pitfall is about transparency. Again, we are living in bubble, but without any transparency, the design system doesn't live, because no one knows what is planned, how to use it, and likely they just don't care about it anymore. Yeah, so how can we support the transparency? You need to announce everything. Hansa showed that. We need to, or we should be open to any change or request, because nothing is perfect and invented at the same time. And the last thing is that we should, or we need to be transparent in breaking changes. For instance, the basic example is that you're going to develop some components, you think that the API is great and it will work in 1 year, but the reality is completely different. You probably discovered a lot of potential issues and you want to just change it to make it better, and then you need to break something. So it's not a problem to have breaking changes, but announce it and be transparent. Yeah, and that's it. The best probably tool for this is your company Slack. I think that probably 99% of companies are using Slack, so take advantage of it. And by advantage, I mean just create Slack channels for front-end components, create channel for design, and also create channel for some various requests where everyone can ask for anything. That's basically it. In the end, we are announcing every release of React components, and also we are announcing every release of new version of UIKit. Now, what to do with requests? Because you maybe think that this component is legit and it doesn't need any improvements or new features. And this colleague, I think that he's from Bratislava, he just wanted a new property that would render it or not. For the first moment, I was like, oh no, man, why do you need it? So I asked him a question. Why do you need it? Give me your use case so I can understand it. And that's probably it. In some general words, it means that you need to be open to discuss every possible change. You need to be assertive, so don't be an asshole. You need to be proactive, so you should react to every request pretty fast. Yeah, and you should respond to everything. Now I just skip this. Yeah, so I mentioned that probably the best tool is Slack, but in the end, no, the best tool that you can have is your documentation. Because basically you can put there everything and it will be there for ages. The disadvantage of Slack is that the conversations are starting to be buried in threads, and no one wants to search for it like 5 minutes. It's better to open documentation and find it there. So what should proper documentation in some general way contain? Well, first of all, it should have changelogs for the entire design system, changelogs for React components, for the UI kit, and also some for some other tools. It should also have a roadmap and some component status that Honza, I think, shown. And also guidelines, because on our front end we are using style components, CSS and JS solution. We are pretty happy with that, but there's no common or good practice how to use it. So now we are trying to write our guidelines, how to use this exact package on the front end. So there is some code standard for it. And also it consists of a lot of other things. For a brief moment, just talk about components, especially front-end components, and what should or how should we document it. Basically, it's about the design and usages. So there is some visual reference and also use cases. Developers need some API reference, so that's obvious. Also, it's nice to show some code examples so the developers can copy-paste it into their project without typing probably a line of code. And it's nice to show some guidelines regarding accessibility if you have it. And what's the result of the transparency is that people will thank you in some way. And in some way with also some request. But it will warm your heart and you will have a motivation to do it better and better and better. Pitfall number 3. Unit tests are not enough. Just take this button, for instance. It's our button, I just copied it from Sketch, but probably like 8 months old version. The problem is that the button has 9 types, 3 sizes, can be bordered or not, can have icon on the left, on the right, 2 icons or no icon, or no text. And can be blocked, so on the 100% width of the parent, or can have specific width. So in the end, it's approximately 430 combinations. So do you think that unit tests are enough? They are not. You need something different. Let's say that this is our button, but it's not. We've got padding of 0 pixels and 12 pixels, and we just gonna change it. It's 1 line of code, but we don't know if it doesn't break anything, any use case. So what can we do? We can do one thing, that's visual regression testing. For this, I recommend you to 2 tools. The first one is Percy that solves this completely. You're just gonna commit something, push it to the branch, and the Percy tool will run the CI pipeline, make the screenshots, and then you can decide easily, okay, so this change is all right, this is not, so we should probably check it, rewrite it, and fix it. The second tool that we are actually using in our team is Loki, because we can set up the whole workflow based on our requirements. In the end, the visual regression testing is about showing the difference. So if we're gonna change the padding, we're gonna see it, and we know that there's something wrong or not. It depends on our decision. And with regression testing, in the end, everyone is happy, and probably you are also happy that you didn't break the whole production. Pitfall number 4. Nobody understands theming and design tokens. This request is probably 1 year old, and our colleague just asked us, do I understand correctly that to recolor a heading, I need to use tokens? So what's the problem with tokens? It's basically about that people are assuming something that they don't understand. They don't understand the ideology behind design tokens or ideology behind theming. And their expectation is to modify the heading component with some overrides directly on the React component, or to use styled function and just add some CSS declarations. But no, God, please no, don't do it. And why? Design tokens are atomic pieces of your design system. You've got some tokens, abstract tokens for font family, or I don't know, maybe something more, yeah, font weight. And also we've got component-specific tokens. So there are, for button, I think that there is like almost 200 tokens actually. So it supports the theming, and it gives us a possibility to make some advanced theming probably. And people in the end doesn't know how they should change it. It's all right, because you should not change it in your application. If you need to change it, you should change it on the top level of your application, so all product buttons are in the same color, in the same font size, line height, background, etc., etc. And why you should have this approach? Because you want to have maintainability of your design system. Also, that I said, you want consistency across the whole, some part of application. And design tokens are the single source of truth. So there's no point for design system that should be strict and used on your product that is not consistent to have some overrides or to extend the CSS properties. Pitfall number 5. Naming is freaking hard. Let's do some research. Maybe there is contrast issue, but this is a button. When you're gonna click it, you're gonna open something. Just give me a name, what this component is, how you should name it. Everyone, just don't be afraid. Okay, tooltip. Another? Drop down. Pop over. Forward.
Under the button, go down.
Okay. Something else?
Something else.
Drop down text.
Okay. And the problem is, there's a nice quote from Amy Hube that is working on government design system of United Kingdom. And she said there is no right way how to name or group things and how they should be named. There's no right way. So what can we do? What naming should we use? Basically, you've got, I think, 4 things you can inspire in other components libraries, because probably on the front-end side there is some common way how to name properties or how to name components. Also, you should name it the most self-descriptive as you can. If you're gonna call a button modal component, I don't think that's descriptive. And also, you should develop some naming conventions, so you've got it written somewhere for future reference. And the last thing that you can do is make internal research regarding names. We spent maybe 20 seconds and we discovered 6 different names. And only one of them we are using actually in our design system. And why I'm talking about naming is that has error is not the same as error. We are using has error as Boolean property and error as string property. And we should use it in the same way across the whole design system. And select component or popover or drop down or pop up or drop-down text or the thingy above it is not the same, and you just need some convention how to name it and probably some research. So that's all for me. 5 pitfalls of design systems. Thank you for your attention. Please visit our GitHub repository or documentation page on orbit.kiwi, and if possible, give us stars. Thank you.